Hey guys, Henry here from Carnivore Capers, and today we are going to be having a look at a 3 ingredients Carnivore Tortilla. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, how about you smash the like button, as well as subscribe and also hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we upload more videos. Alright, let's check out how to do this. Okay, now what we have is we're going to be needing at least 1 tablespoon of whey powder. And make sure that on the back it doesn't have any other fillers in it. This one here says milk as the only ingredient that it has. So that's what we have in this one. It's whey powder. And then we also have literally cow or beef gelatin, 1 tablespoon of that, and about 60 to 80 mils, or should I say 60 to 80 grams of pure egg white. And that's what we're going to be putting into our blender. Okay, so in this particular one, what we're going to do is just weigh up about 60 to 70 grams of this egg white. So we'll just pour that in here, and we'll see how it goes. See how much is needed. About that, 84, that'll do. Doesn't really have to matter too much, so that'll work out really well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that straight into there. Then what we need is 1 tablespoon of beef gelatin. So I'm just going to get this, measure it up in here. 1 tablespoon of this. Looks like I need to get some more. And then 1 tablespoon of whey powder. So we're just going to get the pure whey powder. Turn off. Okay, and we're going to grab a tablespoon of this, and we'll put that straight into that. Okay, so we now have 1 tablespoon of whey powder. Pop that straight in there. Then we turn on our blender and let it blend up really nicely. You need to make it like a creamy consistency if you can. So move all this stuff out of the way, and let's get started. Alright, let's do this. That's beautiful. Now, as you can see, it's really well blended through. Now, what I want to do now is I want to take you over here to the fry pan just so we can finish what we're doing. Alright, so all we really need to do is I'm actually going to be using a cold fry pan to start off with, primarily because I don't want this fry pan. I'm going to put it on this particular one over here, and we'll put it in this fry pan instead. There we are. I'll turn this one off. Now the reason I am doing a cold fry pan to start off with is I want it to be able to cover the entire base. And also, I'm going to be cooking this on quite a low temperature. So hit that and that. Then we'll go down to about 80 degrees and let that warm up. Now it doesn't take long for this particular one. The good thing about these particular ones is they are really, really fast at heating up. Almost about pretty much as fast as a gas stove top. So I've got to be really quick with this so it doesn't overheat too quickly. This is why you have to start it off on low, otherwise you end up ruining it. So I'm just going to quickly scoop that in there and then spin that around in the base so that it covers the entire base of the pan. As you can see, it's quite thick. I'm just going to let that beep for a bit. There we go. And as you can see, that is turning out beautifully. Make sure it covers the entire base. Now I'm using a non-stick fry pan. If you happen to be using a stainless steel fry pan or anything like that, then you can always add a little bit of butter to make it come off the edge. Now we're just going to put that there. And if you have a lid to put on your fry pan, then I would highly suggest you do that. Because what it'll do is it'll start steaming. And once it begins to steam, it'll actually allow it to be able to cook the top as well. Now, I'll be right back once it's cooked. As you can see, it's steaming through very nicely. You might want to make sure that you cover the entire base. This pan's probably a little bit too big for this stovetop, but that's okay. As you can see, it's beginning to bubble up in the center, and that's all right as well. So I like to just take it over and let it set all the way around the edges to make sure it does. Now, you don't want to have it up too high, because if you have it up too high, what's going to happen is it's going to burn in the center, or at least get harder in the center, and it'll just make it taste really awful. So the lower the temperature, the better, because it allows it to actually cook it evenly all over and not just be focused in the center. So we'll just give that a few more minutes and then we'll flip it over. All right, well that's almost ready. Let's go and have a look and see what it's like. I just tested it a little while ago. What you want to do is try not to have it get sticky at the top here. Okay, you can see in the center it's cooking quite nicely. Around the edges, maybe just a little bit more. We need to take it over to the edge so that it cooks it properly all the way over. So give it a minute or two more and then we'll be right to go. All right, now I think that's probably right to flip now. Just get in here and do the best you can. Try not to damage it too badly, and that will flip over very nicely. You can see why I didn't want it being cooked too much, because if you do, what will happen is it'll actually give you this dark brown spot. That's actually not too bad because it's not as dark as it could be. And the best part about this is I'm cooking both sides now, and this will actually be quite flexible because of the gelatin in it, and also it'll also have a bit of a bread consistency to it because of the whey powder in it. The whey powder will give it like a bready consistency, which is really nice when it comes to creating this sort of thing. A lot of people have just the eggs, the white of the eggs and the gelatin, and that's fine, but if you're wanting to have something which is a bit more of a bready consistency, then whey powder really works spectacularly. Let's have a quick look at this. Maybe needs a little bit longer in there. I'm just going to cover it up and we'll see how it goes. All right, I think that's probably right to come out. Now let me just get in here and get under this. We'll see how it goes. Let's go around the edges, try and loosen it up a little bit. It does tend to stick a bit more on this side than the other side for some reason. Not sure why. Maybe I need to leave it a little bit longer. Just lift it up the best you can. There we go, it's starting to come loose now. There we are. Let's have a quick look at this. There we are. And you look at that. That folds over. Right, now have a look at that. That's beautiful. It folds over very nicely. You can roll that. And it has a bit of a bready consistency, a bit of a bready taste to it as well. So you can actually roll this up very nicely. And in just a minute, I'm going to cook up some mince. And then, I'll turn that off. I'm going to cook myself up some mince, put that in the center, and have myself a bit of a tortilla. Alright, right now I've just got 250 grams of mince, and I'm just going to maybe throw a bit of salt over that just to help it out. I've got iodized salt. I normally don't have iodized salt, but I swapped that with my wife so that this little kitchen down here will be able to have it down here, because I need iodine in my body due to my thyroid issues. So let me just go and quickly grab the salt. Now I'm just going to be fairly generous with how much I salt it and give it a good salting. There we go. That's probably enough. Okay, so mix that through. Now another thing I want to do is add a little tiny bit of moisture to this. I'm going to just add probably about half a cup of water into this. The reason I want that is so that I can actually mix my herbs through it as well, and it gets a lovely moist feel about it. Alright, so I'm just going to throw about half a cup in there and let that cook, let that mix through. Because I can't eat bone broth, this is the only way in which I can actually add the moisture. I have to add a bit of water instead. The reason I can't have bone broth is because I have histamine issues. And if I eat it with the histamine issues, if I eat bone broth, I will in fact get quite ill with it. So I need to make sure that I don't have. There we are. See how it's just absorbed all the moisture in that? Now that will come out beautifully in the fry pan later on. So now what we need to do is go and get our, I've got here Mexican chilies. So I'm going to throw that straight into here. And I'm quite generous with it. I don't usually measure it. I'm quite generous with it because I quite like the flavor. So I'm guessing about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half will probably do for this. So we just mix that through, and the best part about that is it'll also have a nice red tinge to it once it cooks. Now I can also add a little bit more water if I need to, which I think I will in this case. Normally what I do is I also add, usually I add liver, but I'm not going to be adding liver in this particular case. I think this will be okay without it. I don't need liver every single day. Besides, I often have tuna and things like sardines and tuna every day, so I will have that a little bit later. Okay, so I might add a little bit more water to that. just to help it out. About another half a cup. We'll see how we go with that. Okay, I'm not going to do any more than that for the moment. And let that mix through. Wow, that's absorbing it quite well. I might just add that last little bit. There we go. Yep, that's good. Now when that cooks through, the moisture is going to go right through that meat, and it'll also come out on the fry pan. I might add a little tiny bit more of my Mexican powder just to help it out. Alright, that'll do. That's probably about 2 teaspoons now. Alright, now let's go cook this up. Okay, let's have a look at how easy this is. I'm just going to get a little bit and put it in the middle. I'm not great at this, so do forgive me if I don't do it quite as well as some people might. So clearly all I have to do is fold it up and then go for it. So it's just sticking to the pan a little bit, sticking to the plate a little bit. And there you have it. Now this will be a nice bread consistency. And have a look at that. It folds up just like you would an ordinary tortilla. Now comes the taste test. Right, now that fell apart a little bit at the bottom, but that's okay. Then all we need to do is just give it a test and see what it tastes like. This doesn't have an egg taste at all. It's really nice. And this is just the bun up. I didn't obviously take it up high enough, but yeah, the bread's really quite nice. Now I also added extra spices because I like my spices here. Let's try it out now with the meat. Just like any other tortilla you'd have, except for without the vegetables. That is super good. Alright, that's how you create a 3-ingredient tortilla. Alright guys, if you got some value out of this video, please consider smashing the like button, as well as subscribing and also hitting the bell icon so you can be notified when we upload more videos. Hey, while you're at it, why not consider sharing, and also leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this ingredients for the tortilla. Also too, right here, there's a video I believe you might like. Down here is a video YouTube thinks you might like. Right here, well, that's an image of my head, and if you click on that, you'll be able to subscribe. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.